If you have been following along my podcasting journey, then you have come across this man's name quite a few times. I'm reconnecting with Jordan Walker after learning that he has brought some new life into BackTrack. It started back in 2019, and it is a Mac menu bar app, also available in the app stores on Apple and many more, that lets you record what you've seen or heard on your computer up to 5 hours in the past. Now, this is something that helps you record conversations you wish you had recording. You could tap into this recording, reuse it for content, documents, or listening back to it for whatever reason. But Jordan can say it better than me. Jordan, it's great to see you again, and thanks for coming back on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I do feel like I'm a veteran on this podcast now, so I appreciate it and I appreciate the love for sure. But yeah, we're working on BackTrack now. I'm pumped to get it out there, get it to the people, and the reaction so far has just been super nuts from our beta community. And so I appreciate you giving me this platform to one, talk to you, but also talk about what we got going on now.
Of course, I'm honored to be able to give you some feedback behind the scenes. I'm going to be diving into this app quite a bit, and it is under the Yak umbrella. We'll also touch on Yak if you have not heard of that. But if it is your first episode with us, thank you so much for stopping by. This is That Entrepreneur Show, the podcast meant for high achievers and those looking to find new levels of success. Each week since 2019, I've sat down with at least one founder of a company or brand to help you on your journey with their learning lessons, their entrepreneurial journey, and tip for success. I preview just a bit here with Jordan. He's got Yak. He's got BackTrack. Yak is the audio first, messaging platform that helps you enrich async communication with voice messages, searchable transcription, and async screen sharing. They've raised over 10 million in funding and so much more. And I am excited to share that this summer's episodes will be brought to you in part by speaker coach Cesar Cervantes, specializing in helping you get your transformative message to the TEDx stage. Guaranteed. To schedule your free brainstorming session, visit the link in the show description or CesarCervantes.tv. Jordan, if people missed your first show, we might as well dive into Yak first. Give us that great pitch that you perfected so well.
Yeah, so Yak is a asynchronous voice messaging app that we have. And so hearing that, people might go, well, what in the world does that mean? And so essentially what we do is we allow you to send voice messages through the app to your teammates who may be elsewhere in the world or on different time zones. So that way you can have a meeting, just not done at the same time. And so we started back, like you so said, as a side project in 2019, both Yak and BackTrack actually. We launched Yak, it's crazy, right before the pandemic was officially declared a pandemic on March 13th. And as the whole world went remote once, we saw our metrics kind of go up into the right, which is what everybody's dream is. And we were able to kind of be at the forefront of a lot of those conversations around, audio and async voice messaging and things of that nature, remote work, the whole 9 yards. And so Yak has been alive and our main focus for the last few years. And like you so said, we have launched our second product under the Yak umbrella called BackTrack. And yeah, it's crazy to think that we've been here. The Yak journey has taken us to the edges of the world, I feel like. And, we're so fortunate for the people that we've met along the way. Couldn't be a more exciting journey.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited for you about all this new growth. And unfortunately, COVID did happen. There's nothing good about that. But the timing of your product right before COVID, where teams are meeting virtually, even if they are in the same state, they're not able to meet face to face depending on where you are. I briefly touched on how you realized that BackTrack had so many users and you weren't really fiddling with this app. You're working on Yak. Let's talk about this transition back into BackTrack, and then we'll talk about what's the latest with it.
Yeah, for sure. So I think I'll give kind of the whole backstory here to create the context. So Yak was launched during the pandemic, and that's what our main focus was. I think we had raised a bunch of funding, got a lot of great customers and users and people that we love. While this whole time on the side, we had our app BackTrack just sitting on the shelf, if you will. And so we quickly, at the end of should say actually at the beginning of 2022-ish, we just kind of took inventory of all the products that we have. And so we decided to go look at BackTrack. We hadn't looked at it in a really long time. And crazy enough, we found out this thing has about 3,000 people using it on the regular. And we're going, what? And then we dove in further and we found this thing has hit #1 in the Mac App Store in 10 countries across the world and like top 50 and like many more, like including like America, Canada, like, countries that we all know and love. And so we're going, okay, wait a minute here. What is this app? What is going on with this BackTrack thing? Because up to this point, we had talked to maybe a handful of users of BackTrack. And so we decided to lean all the way into it, started talking to more users, took their feedback and built out what we now have as the new version of BackTrack, BackTrack 2.0. And it's been as exciting as it gets to work on. And, it's really funny. It's a full circle moment for us. The reason BackTrack actually started back in 2019 is because we had no idea what we were doing when it came to startups or fundraising. And so the story goes, we were actually out in San Francisco meeting with an investor. And mind you, at this point, to create the context for everybody listening or watching, we're from Florida, so we've never talked to a single investor before. We have no background in technology, no background in startups, zero connections to anybody. I mean, we were just some young kids, fresh out of college, trying to figure out how to make something happen. No idea how any of this world kind of works. And so, long story short, we find ourselves out in a meeting in San Francisco with an investor. Well, our first in-person investor conversation. We do this meeting, and when I say we got destroyed in this meeting or annihilated, that is probably an understatement. We just got absolutely train wrecked in this conversation, to the point where we were looking around going, yeah, I don't know, like, shrugging your shoulders, looking for answers. So after the meeting, we walk out, we look at each other, we go, you know what? I wish we recorded that. That would have been great to have. And so Hunter, in his brain, he goes, oh, wow, that would be an amazing product to have if we brought it to life. And so later that evening, on a flight home from San Francisco back to Florida, the first version of BackTrack came to life. And so even the logo, there's a video of it out there on the internet, we designed on Hunter's iPhone. He opened his Instagram app, and we were designing it using the stories feature. And so that's how it came to life. And so the first version came to life with that, through this idea of fundraising and trying to figure out startups. And then we put it on the shelf from there. So now we have this full circle moment of looking into it again and working on it again. That it's just been really fun and exciting, and a great story behind it. So yeah, we're really enjoying it so far. BackTrack's been a blast to work on again.
I want to right now plug, before I know we'll plug it again at the end. Where can we find Yak? Where can we find BackTrack?
Yeah, so you can find BackTrack if you just go to usebacktrack.com, or likewise, we are on the Mac App Store. So if you just search BackTrack, you'll find it. We have the space branding with the green, the radiant green, as we call it. So it's hard to miss, if you will. And then likewise, Yak, we're just yak.com, YAC.com, and you can download our apps and make an account just from the website.
All right. Well, he's given us a great look into both of these apps. There's something that can help every entrepreneur. If you're listening to this some way, somehow, these apps will become valuable to you. What's next? What can you preview for us with these apps, things that are yet to come?
Yeah, so we have some really awesome features for BackTrack planned out. Obviously, AI is at the height of hype right now, and we have some cool stuff with AI planned. Which ironically was always kind of the next step for BackTrack. Right. So it's cool to see the whole world move to that kind of at the same time. And as well as some features that just make the app take the app from, wow, this is really cool, to, wow, I definitely can't live without this thing. And so we're excited for those. I don't want to give away the secret sauce, but we do have some features coming out that nobody has ever done before, that haven't been possible until recently. And, we've been able to ship them. And fortunately, our beta community has already been able to test them, take them for a test ride, and they're going, yeah, this thing is awesome. So we're really excited about that. So that's kind of what's on the forefront for us, just working on some of these new features, staying focused where we can, shipping as fast as possible, talking to our users as much as we can, collecting a bunch of feedback, and just iterating this as quickly as you can get, especially these days. I feel like that's the name of the game. So moving fast, staying focused, and talking to customers. That's what we're doing.
Well, I look forward to working with this app and seeing all the updates come out. I appreciate you taking the time to come back on the show and share with our audience all of the great work that you're up to. I'm proud to know you as a friend and to see all of this great just value continue to unroll. Do we have plans for something else? Or are we focusing right now on BackTrack and Yak? I know this guy's a serial entrepreneur. Go down the show description and listen to some of his old shows. We talk about So Friendly, another company that he was involved with, and now he's on these two. Is there something else in the works?
No, right now, just focused on what we have in front of us full time. God willing, I'll be an entrepreneur the rest of my life. So I'm sure down the road, you'll see me ship more products with my co-founder. But for now, just focused on what's in front of us. So no distractions. Name of the game this year is focus, baby. Focus.
That's right. I'm right there with you, focusing and leveraging our skill sets to continue to see great growth. We know where to find Yak. We know where to find BackTrack. Where can we find more about you?
Yeah, so I'm super active on Twitter. I'm at Jordan L. Walker. I also have a neon green background in my profile photo, so hard to miss me if you search me. I'm also on LinkedIn, Jordan L. Walker on LinkedIn as well. I would love to connect or chat with anybody. I'm an open book. We're super easygoing. So those are probably the best two ways to find me if anybody has questions about BackTrack, Yak, or just generally wants to talk entrepreneurship, business, or anything else in between.
Be sure to head to those websites. Go say hello to him on LinkedIn or Twitter. He has so much value to offer. And the show is at That Entrepreneur Show on all social media. YouTube, that is at Vincent Day Lancy. Be sure to head there for a video preview to this show. And with that, we are signing off here. Two Florida boys hanging out, chopping it up, and talking entrepreneurship. Jordan, thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to seeing all of your next success.
I love it. Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me on. Pumped to get this out into the world. And I appreciate you so much. I'll talk to you soon.